hold up. You've tuned in for another edition of Geeks on Trial Sidebar.
Can I stop holding?
What?
Can I stop holding? I was holding up.
Oh, well, no.
Oh.
You just I'll let you know when.
Oh.
It's at the end of the episode. This is the little Patreon show where our patrons get to watch us for extra time a couple of times a month. Thanks so much for that. Let us know what you'd just like to see on the Patreon or the show or whatever the hell in the comments. We're going to talk about another random topic on today's show. But in order to do that, what do we need to do?
I need to get over here and press the wheel and spin it. Well, you don't really spin it.
No, come on. Keep the illusion alive.
Spin! Oh, you hear it. There it is.
The kind of spin
We're gonna
I
find
like.
out what it is.
Not the kind of spin like Bill O'Reilly does. Does he even... He's not on the air anymore. Did he die? Not yet.
What is your favorite movie soundtrack?
Whoa!
Oh, hey!
What a question. What a good question. Favorite movie soundtrack.
Favorite movie soundtrack.
And now we're talking about
movies that have music that are soundtracks.
not a score.
Oh.
It's two separate questions.
That is a
we
separate
could
question.
cover both.
Well, let's see where the soundtrack goes, and then the OST, right? Wouldn't that be
The
original
OST.
soundtrack?
Yes, the where it says the artist is various. Mm-hmm. Various artists.
I want to be a musician, and my name be Various.
There has to be a band called Various Artists.
Various Artists. If there isn't,
that's too good.
That is good.
Oh no, wait, but that's bad though because SEO, you're fucked. That's not good. All right.
Well, if you do that, if you don't want to be found, it's like very low key, very underground.
Yeah.
You're Various Artists.
Right.
So for me,
Tom Hiddleston.
I do want to go with the obvious and be like, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. That's, that is, you
That's
could
the
choose,
obvious.
Any of the obvious for me. You could choose that. You could choose the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. You can choose Rocket Man.
Okay.
Any movies.
Mamma Mia.
Here, yes.
I remembered where we talked about this before, by the way.
Where?
We discussed this on another Patreon, a different Patreon.
Oh,
About 2 years ago.
That's fine.
But I still remembered it. Doesn't matter. It's been long enough.
ooh, so I don't know if I have because I have a lot of favorite scores.
Well, we could start with that. We don't have to
Like for
limit
me,
it.
Donnie Darko
Interesting.
was a good score. Like I would put on when I was in college to study and stuff to have a weird, moody, backgroundy kind of stuff going.
I don't know. I don't remember the score of that movie that well, but I would say that one has a pretty good soundtrack too.
That is true.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yep.
And Tears for Fears and
Yep.
Nah Notorious Bom Bom Bom. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good.
Okay, so maybe that's my favorite soundtrack. As
maybe
well.
just overall. Maybe you want both.
Soundtracked. Why am I saying tracked?
Yeah, it makes sense. Soundtracked. Like the tract, you have a sound tract infection.
So, burns. So what is yours? What is your favorite? So we clearly know mine is Donnie Darko. Well, both.
We're starting with scores.
Let's do scores.
I have a lot of answers. I mean, a real favorite number one. I don't know if I really have that. I have a bunch that come to mind.
Right.
Like the first one is a lot of Clint Mansell does the score for a lot of what's his name movies. Darren Aronofsky.
Oh, okay.
The Fountain is the one.
That's a good one.
That I really, really love. Requiem for a Dream is pretty iconic, but it's not. I don't know that it's my favorite.
What makes a good score for you?
I like, I like kind of an old-fashioned one that actually has melodies. Like a Indiana Jones style, like John Williams style, versus most modern scores of movies are just
yeah.
But sometimes I like those too. I mean, I like Inception. What's his name? Hans Christian Andersen.
Yep. Hans Gruber.
Yeah, Hans Gruber.
More Hans.
Hans and Franz.
Yeah,
or something that's really weird. A good one is Thoroughbreds. I don't know if you know that movie. It came out a few years back, but it has the score is all there's a cat on the table. Cat on the table, people.
Cat on the table. Hot cat.
Cat on the table. There is a lot of the soundtrack is all people going
Or super artsy, kind of.
It's got a weird vibe to it, very memorable. That's what makes it stick in my head is when it's memorable. He's blocking our light.
You can't really see that, but
hey, buddy, get out of here.
Come on. If you're gonna be on table, you have to be on set. You gonna do the
He's
camera?
gonna knock the camera
Let's
over.
find out. If you see camera movement, it's because our cat producer.
If I stand up, hey, you better move. Hey, you better move. He did.
Oh.
Okay, he moved.
Yeah, so for me, like a score, like I either like the score of like a 1940s movie, like the over-the-top big band, like
But are you listening to that in the car?
no, not in the car. See, scores for me are like background music.
Sure.
So it's like that will be something, or like when I do video editing.
Yeah.
I like having a score on, especially to set the mood. So if I'm doing like a moody video, or if I'm doing something like that, I'll be like, okay, I want this video to be kind of like a Donnie Darko or a different, so I have that in the background.
You make a lot of Donnie Darko vids.
So it gets me in the right brain mindset. Yes, thank you.
I help you out.
When do you listen to scores? When you're scoring?
Same as you.
Like music, when you're making movies.
Yeah, like when I'm same as you if I'm like working on something else, and I usually if I can't listen to music usually with vocals while I'm trying to like write something or do something because it'll distract me. But a score kind of puts me in a place I don't need to. What was the word again?
Score?
The one I gave you.
Mindset?
That was it.
That's it.
Some more that are coming to mind. I mean, the Goonies is fun. I think it's a good score. Yeah, it's a good score.
Did Goonies have soundtrack?
They don't really
No.
play a lot of songs in it, I don't think. Maybe in the background.
Now, to me, a different side note, a good soundtrack or a good score.
Look, my finger is on my
A good soundtrack or a good score.
I was in
I'll
the
hold it for
middle
you,
of a list.
is one that you don't notice until afterwards.
Huh. I don't agree with that.
All right, well, go on to your list.
Okay.
Drink some coffee.
Now it's gone. Well, I was gonna say any like some obvious ones are like Danny Elfman, a lot of Tim Burton movies.
Oh yeah,
John Williams, obviously, but like, come on. Another one that I believe it's James Horner.
You just lie.
It's James Horner who did Avatar as well as How to Train Your Dragon. But that might be two different people, and I'm mixing up their names. But anyway, How to Train Your Dragon has a really good score, and so does. Now, and this is a weird one. This is one of my weird ones because the movie is terrible.
Okay.
But I think the score is amazing.
Am I going to think it's terrible? That movie terrible, or do I?
I hope so.
Okay.
You probably never even watched it. The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
M.
Okay.
Night Shyamalan has a
We watched it together.
terrific score. Did we?
Yeah.
I never really remember when you were around.
That's fun.
But I loved that sound. If you listen to that soundtrack,
Yeah.
close your eyes and think of a better movie.
Or take it out and put it in a better movie. That's probably great.
Yeah, like it's amazing that. And again, I want to say James Horner, but I think I'm
Go ahead.
crossing my wires.
You have a phone?
Who did
They
that?
paid for this.
Last Airbender score. This is worth it, guys. This is worth it.
See, it makes it good content if he
James Newton Howard.
Oh, how could you forget that household name?
James Newton Howard. No, I mean he's a. Now I got to look up.
Well, score, like people like names in movies
John
more.
Powell is the one who did How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know.
Close.
I'm all over the place. Whatever. Some people I know, yeah. But I love The Social Network. Is a great one. Trent
Yes.
Reznor, Atticus Ross.
Yes.
Their scores are always really good. But that's one of my favorites.
But now it's a regular soundtrack, original
Soundtracks.
soundtrack. I always go to like, fine the one from Greece, the one like you go to the stuff like that.
I feel like musicals shouldn't count.
Shouldn't count
because that's not a.
Because that's just like
That's a different category. It's
that's
a different
that's
thing.
just music that they built a movie around.
Yeah, yeah. That's like my favorite musicals and my favorite soundtrack. That seems like
All right.
a cop out answer. So fuck you.
Fuck you. Ooh.
There's a million soundtracks.
Because I always like a good like throwback soundtrack too, where it's like a modern day movie, Footloose isn't a musical, but like a Footloose soundtrack or like anything upbeat to me. Baby Driver, but that's would you count that as a soundtrack? Because most of the movie
that's a soundtrack.
is the music.
No, but it's my point is it's not music that was written for the movie.
Okay.
It's music.
So Baby Driver would probably be my best.
Sure. Edgar Wright has great soundtracks.
One that I can say is getting overplayed, and I'm getting sick of it, and this might be a controversial fighting thing right now, is Guardians of the
I
Galaxy.
knew that was what you're gonna say.
It's the same.
But overplayed. When's the last time who's playing it? By who?
When those movies are out, those songs are like everywhere, and just overly done, and like the gimmick of the movie is done to me.
I don't know. All right.
But yeah,
yeah, I don't know. But it's so the gimmick of classic rock is you just don't like.
well, in those movies,
All right. But the sound, I feel like the soundtrack I'm talking about, like on its own, like, do you not like those songs?
because they're not really
You're
built
just being
for
contrarian.
the movie. They're just built like, oh, we have this tape.
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah. I don't know. This feels like a. That's the point of the. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it good. Sometimes it's not built for, like the Baby Driver songs aren't built for the movie.
Well, they're not built for the movie.
You're
but
saying
like,
they don't. You don't think they fit the movie.
I don't know if it's that they don't fit the movie. That it's like this tape was built like the tape, and it's supposed to be.
You're talking about in the universe
right.
of the movie.
Your
now.
soundtrack shouldn't be your character, and I feel like in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Like
the
I jimmed the
soundtrack.
camera.
The soundtrack is the character.
Sure. All right. I don't know. I think that's fun. You don't think the soundtrack's a character in Baby Driver?
Not as mad as it is in those.
All right. Whatever.
Mainly the first one.
First thing that comes to my mind is Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
lot,
yeah?
lot
Okay.
of Tarantino movies, but Pulp
Because
Fiction.
Tarantino uses it like he like changes genres in a movie. Not genre. He changes time frames in a movie with music, and he does it well.
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim, another Edgar Wright, has a really good soundtrack.
I'm trying to think of the soundtracks of like Wes Anderson movies. Does he?
I like those a lot. Yeah.
because they're weird.
I have a few of those, but I think they also combine sometimes the score and the soundtrack.
Right.
What do you think about that? Do you like when it's like one CD is just the score? Do you like when if you hear a little score and then a song and then a little more?
I like
score?
when they have it in between, like it's like every other or it's like both. But I don't like when they have the vocals. Like
I always cut that out.
Yep.
I always delete those. I don't like that either. Sometimes it's in the. You know what movie does that actually, and I do kind of like it. It's School of Rock.
okay.
But you probably don't like that because of the gimmick of 70s rock music. And same with A Knight's Tale, which is another banger of a soundtrack.
It was a banger of a soundtrack that didn't work with the movie.
Oh boy, that's fighting words.
Really?
I mean, that's the point, is that it doesn't work. That's what makes it fun, is that it's a contrast. It's rock music in a fantasy world. Not fantasy, medieval.
Well, that was a fantasy to some people. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Well, no.
Weird.
Yeah.
So you don't like that movie?
No.
Yeah, okay. That's a classic. Oh man. We're going to get a lot of angry.
Because I like
If anyone watches this, they're going
I
to be
usually
pissed.
like it to like be roughly like if like a medieval movie. Why would it have?
I know,
modern
but
day
that's
music?
why it's fun. What is this like color only in the lines mentality?
Because you know me,
You're a bureaucrat? Like, what is this? No, it must fit.
fit in the timeline.
I mean, there's a million other soundtracks that I'm sure I have on my computer that I'm not thinking of.
Right.
Just taking a picture of the cat on the table. That I didn't think that would cause this much
Now,
fighting.
do you have a lot of soundtracks? Like, will you just like pop in a soundtrack and just listen to it straight through? Because I'll do that a lot with like Pandora. Like, I'll put on. I have a movie score Pandora, which ends up just being Tim Burton stuff. Because I think that's just like.
Yeah, sometimes Lord of the Rings, another great
this
one,
is another
obviously.
good one.
Yeah, which they take 8 hours to listen to, but they're
Well, at that
great.
point, just put the fucking movie on.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, there's so many. I wish I feel like I should come up. Almost Famous. That's a really good
Oh
one.
yeah, that was a good one. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Who is the lead in that?
Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it.
Who's the lead woman? The
Julianne Moore's or no?
It's Katie. Oh well, we'll never know.
Katie Kirk.
Yep, that's Katie Couric from the Today Show. No, Goldie Hawn's daughter,
Oh, Lisa Hahn.
Lisa Hahn. Nah, no relation.
Anna Faris.
Yep. Then,
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, this is, like I said, this is a topic where I just know. I wish that this is one where the lack of prep is too bad, because if I could scroll through my music library. I know there's a million movie soundtracks that I love.
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
It's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's daughter.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
I literally just Googled, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Ooh, that's a good one.
Coen Brothers have some good ones.
Coen Brothers, they slap.
How about Clueless? Looking out a dirty old window.
My brain went right to Clue and not Clueless. I'm like, that song wasn't in Clue.
Juno, that's kind of
Juno.
fun. Saturday Night Fever.
Well,
Garden State.
now what do you think of a movie that has no music?
If it fits the movie, there aren't that many of those.
No.
Can you name
But
any?
you have to. Wasn't 2001?
2001: A Space Odyssey. I think if you think
Well, there's
about
the
it
one
for
song.
5
But
seconds.
no, but isn't like most of it like isn't that like supposed to be the silent movie?
Maybe like while they're in, but there's also the da 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 ba 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 ba. Like they're pretty iconic songs in that movie.
I thought that was supposed to be one of the top. Maybe it's the longest scene with no sounds.
Maybe I don't know.
Or something.
There's certainly music in it. I
Right.
can tell you that much.
If you think about it.
Yeah, a movie with A Quiet Place.
Oh, well,
No, that has a soundtrack. That's not true. Has a score. All right, whatever. There's a lot of great ones. I'm sure we only scratched the surface, but that's why the viewers are here.
Right.
Because our friendly patrons are here to help us out. They can write in the comments their favorite movie scores and soundtracks, and they can also help us settle whether or not there's music in some of these movies, whether or not the soundtracks are good.
right.
Talk to us in the comments, and we'll catch you guys next time.